What's the juiciest rumor at your school that turned out to be 100% true? We had a Spanish teacher who would keep giving random financial business advice during classes. One day he tabbed over to his stock trading homepage and accidentally revealed that he was a millionaire. Rumors about his past started circulating. Around graduation, some students found old newspaper articles confirming that he was a former drug dealer who had spent time in jail. Was a seriously cool guy, actually. That would be a good Breaking Bad spin-off. New kid comes to high school. Has a funny accent because his parents were missionaries, traveling all over the world. He was actually kind of cool. Spoke at least 4 different languages: English, Spanish, Russian and Mandarin. He was super polite and everyone liked him. Of course he had haters, mainly the so-called bullies, a concept he never understood. Rumor began that he was well versed in many forms of martial arts. He never denied or admitted to them. One of the bullies decided to find out. He was much bigger than the new kid. New kid did everything in his power to not escalate the fight. Even took a punch from said bully. Well, guess the rumor was true. Not only did the new kid beat his ass, the bully crap himself. Most awesome thing I ever saw in high school. Not only did the kid beat his ass, the bully crap himself. Thank you. This has made it onto my list of favorite things to look at when I am old. 2 teachers that were married to each other were sleeping with students. The husband was the first to do it and the wife found out and slept with some of her students as revenge. Also, the resource officer was sleeping with some of the 18-year-old seniors. All got confirmed when they were fired for it. Well, the teachers got fired. The officer got moved to bicycle patrol. I think he's ridden enough. This one girl would make those colorful friendship bracelets made out of needlepoint floss for every guy she gave a BJ to. There were lots of bracelets. Like some kind of club or something. The art teacher was sleeping with both the history teacher and PE teacher. She was married to the chemistry teacher who she'd previously had an affair with while married to the woodwork teacher. I believe she married the PE teacher sometime after I left school. This is better than a Mexican soap opera. That there is an underground bunker from the Cold War era below the school. Not only is it there, but it turns out you can access it from the PE changing room through a secret trapdoor. Some kid in my year grade found nude pictures of his art teacher, female, on a school camera when he went to take pictures of his painting. Didn't have a clue what to do about it, so just started telling people and no one believed him. A couple days later he's pulled out of class and had to see the school headmaster about it. They found the camera and the photos and somehow the teacher was unaware whatsoever. Thing is, the teacher didn't get any reprimands, but the kid got excluded a couple of days for spreading true rumors about the teacher. Doesn't seem fair. In middle school, a rumor floated around pretty much most of the school that the principal had a consistent record of sexual assault. And what do I freaking know? He got arrested for sexual assault when I was a freshman in high school. It was all over the news and everything. A younger male teacher, upper 20s, newly wed, was having sex in his classroom during lunch with an older female teacher, married in her mid-40s. A student caught them and filmed them. Pretty much blackmailed them into turning themselves in. At least he was freaking a teacher and not a student. 2 sports teachers were having an affair with each other, even though one of their spouses was also a sports teacher in the same school using the same dinky office. Rumor was confirmed when the 2 dudes had a fist fight in the basketball court. I feel like every PE teacher I ever had was plowing another member of staff. That the school district security guard would let you get away with anything if you gave him some drugs. He later got caught and fired for it. If anyone else went there, it was at Desert View HS in Tucson. Spanish teacher was a former male PE star. La puta está en la biblioteca. The woodtech teacher was married to the French teacher. They had a child. The PE teacher fricked the French teacher. The woodtech teacher went into the PE department and threatened to beat the crap out of the PE teacher with a cricket bat. I believe this was during a normal school day, but it was before my year started there. A second PE teacher got involved and stopped it, so everyone kept their jobs. Later on, the woodtech teacher married the geography teacher and they had 2 kids, whilst a third PE teacher cheated on her husband with the second PE teacher, and every Wednesday an hour before lunch I would see PE teachers 2 and and 3 through the window of my science classroom. They would get in a car and leave together. Sometimes I would see them come back and sometimes I wouldn't. I jokingly pointed it out to people before anyone else caught on, and later they became a couple that was known to students. And a partridge in a pear tree. Teacher from my high school. Girls were creeped out by him and constantly reported him for making them uncomfortable. He was quite obese, barely hung to knees, so the school and other students wrongly assumed these girls were being rude. 6 years later he's in prison after being caught with child pee on his computer, alongside upskirt photos of girls from my school. That there was a girl in the boys' bathroom giving BJs for $10. There really was, and she got expelled. $10. Way too cheap considering the risk. A girl blew the whole basketball team after a game. Don't know the exact details. I just know the girl left and 3 kids got expelled. The rumor was that a boys' gym teacher and a senior girl in my class were involved. They got married when we graduated. He was at least 10 years older than she was. My 6th grade math teacher was super creepy. He would assign seats randomly but always place the girls in the front of the classroom, did the whole lingering stare thing, and was always trying to get people to hang out with him during lunch. I never did, but he was married and has a baby, so no one really suspected him of anything other than being creepy. The same exact thing happened at my school, except he was an art teacher. Probably not the juiciest thing, but the one I remember because of how I found out. A few of our high school libraries' walls were weird, sort of a lowercase b shape, so there was this empty space behind the bookshelves up against the walls. Tunnels, basically. Word was, students were freaking in there. I worked in the library, had to move the shelves, clean the tunnels, found used condoms. It was an all-boys school at the time, if that matters. Mind, the condoms weren't the worst thing, really. The leftover food debris, and there was worse. Stuff like chicken bones. You know you've hit rock bottom when you'll give a blowy for a piece of fried chicken. Either that, or that's some awfully damned good chicken. There was a rumor that our female English teacher was sleeping with the starting QB, and that her youngest child was not her husband's, but the QB's. She was caught sleeping with a different one of her students years later, and it is now known she has slept with a number of former students including the QB. Now people really think her youngest kid isn't her husband's. When I was in middle school, the big joke rumor was that 2 teachers were banging. Years later everyone finds out that not only were they having an affair outside of their respective marriages, but that the male teacher was cheating on both women with a man. The female teacher moved away and ended her own life. The entire situation was unbelievably messy. The male principal got caught fricking the male history teacher in his office. Both were married. Their husbands must have been furious. There was a girl who wanted to lose her virginity, so she offered a guy a phone top up to take her virginity, and he did it. That within the first 2 weeks of the school starting and everyone meeting each other, one of the girls had a threesome with 2 guys who didn't really get along. So, she convinced them to make love, not war. We had a study hall teacher who was a huge hardass with a handlebar mustache who was retired Navy. Turned out he was a hardcore P-star in the early 2000s. He got fired even though it was long before his time teaching. I ended up writing a letter to the administration, county, and their attorneys, but he stayed fired. I guess it would be hard to command respect from students when googling his P name immediately brought up a pic of his balls bound in leather. Our math teacher in high school had a student teacher she was helping train to take over for her when she went on maternity leave. The student teacher was maybe 20-21 and a fairly attractive young woman, so naturally all the guys in the class had a crush on her. One guy in particular was a super senior and 18-19. He flirted with her non-stop and she would act super embarrassed and blush and in a non-committal way tell him to knock it off. I'm sure you see where this is going. Well, towards the end of the semester he was bragging about going on a date with her and how they went to the movies, then he went back to her place and they had sex. We all thought he was full of crap, but the rumor got around the school and of course the teachers and faculty found out. Then one day she is just gone, and we had substitute teachers for the rest of the semester. We all knew what happened. Looking back, it's kind of a shame that she probably wrecked her future teaching career of him. Yeah, teachers shouldn't start that young with people they were allowed to bang a few weeks ago. A girl got caught giving her boyfriend a BJ in one of the stairwells of my high school. The government teacher, one of the most ultra-religious and pure-hearted individuals on earth, was the one who caught them. Ended up in a science class with a girl. She gave no fricks that she got caught and took her legend status like a champ. Still makes me laugh over a decade later. Very attractive married with kids pay teacher was freaking very attractive married with kid English teacher. We all thought they were just very flirty people, but lol nope, full on affair going on. The music teacher in my high school was rumored to have been fired for sending dong pics to a female student. There had been subs taking his place for nearly a month. The principal said he was too ill to come into work, and eventually another rumor that he had cancer started spreading around. He had been bald longer than anyone could remember. If you asked any of the school staff what was going on, they would just say he's just sick right now. We don't know when he'll be returning. One day in my physics class, everyone in the class pestered the teacher for the whole period until he finally gave in. Some people were still trying to argue the cancer story. One student asked the physics teacher did he send nudes to that girl, and he finally said, "That thing that you think happened, it happened." The student said, "So he did," and the teacher simply nodded his head yes. A month or so later, the music teacher showed up in school. Everyone was running up to him in the hallway asking what happened. He dodged every question, and the last thing I heard him say was, "I'm just here to get some things." He didn't teach his class that day and I never saw him again. We had a running joke around my school for years. If someone asked, "Could you insert question here?" most people would reply, "I'll do it for a bag of Doritos." This was a school-wide inside joke because a girl was caught sucking this guy's dong in the bathroom. Some authority figure had the bright idea of asking why the horny teen would allow this. She said she would do it for $3 and a bag of Doritos. No one ever saw the girl again, but the guy became a legend. You could say she jacked up her prices since then. A secretary walking in on the bitchy old assistant principal, Ms. Soper, giving head to the other assistant principal in his office. It was within a few days that the guy hurriedly resigned, so must have been some truth there. She was still there though, but I couldn't look at her straight after that. People who don't know the difference between principals and principals. Neither did the administrators, apparently. That the female religion teacher had been sleeping with boys in grade 10 for upwards of 15 years. Teacher had a mail order bride. The priest of the church that ran my Catholic elementary school got caught selling drugs in the park. My parents quickly decided public school was suddenly a good idea. Then in high school, the senior directing our school play got caught fricking one of the freshman actresses in Dracula's coffin in the theater loft. This will probably get buried, but it was a legendary rumor that I never really believed. When I was a junior, the principal's daughter was a freshman. The principal had 3 daughters, but she was the oldest and first to hit high school. It was a small town. There was only one high school, and the principal happened to be the most successful basketball coach in school history and in this town. That was important. The guy could do no wrong. So the girl, by default, had a lot more attention than any other normal freshman girl. She was outgoing and nice, and we were involved in athletics together, so we knew each other, other than me just knowing who she was like most of the rest of the school. The rumor was that this girl, the principal's daughter, made a sex tape with a popular boy in her grade when they were 13. Apparently the parents found the VHS tape and a few copies, and both families decided to destroy the tapes and leave the cops out of it, as it was a small town and both families were prominent in the community. This was all rumored, and if you asked the boy about it, he never answered the question. He never said yes or no, just found some sort of a way to change the topic. In hindsight, it was actually amazing how good he was at it, given that he was 14 at the time. Fast forward to senior year, I had known of the story for more than a year, like everyone else. And I regularly talked to the principal's daughter as a friend, and she didn't really seem like the type of person to do that, so I didn't really believe it. One day after lunch, sitting around talking, one of my friends starts playfully arguing with her about something, and the argument escalated, and then he says, "At least I didn't make a sex tape when I was 12. Her response: "Hey, I was 13. You have been visited by a happy baby pygmy murder cow. Back away slowly and subscribe quickly to ensure your safety. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't." Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.